kind of looks a lot like the concrete ruins up there at Coolidge, doesn't it?
It really does. This looks just like Coolidge.
Yeah, 500 tons of ore a day they were processing through here during the 40s
So
for
this,
the war effort.
This was a wartime mill. This was a civil undertaking then for war.
It was bought up by the Anaconda, then all this was put in by the Anaconda.
Okay.
And this all was in operation during 2 world wars.
Okay.
1 and 2. So all this stuff up here is pretty old. Hoofda. And of course, like anything historic and cool, you got to have people come up here and destroy it. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but those are the people we have to share this planet with, unfortunately.
You know when this was constructed?
Just before World War I believe. It was in like, I think it was around the 20s. You know, I honestly couldn't tell you. But the information I was able to gather was that the mine was bought in, you know, just before World War I. And it took, it took, I mean, it took them, this was basically under constant improvement ever since the Anaconda took it over. So I don't know when this was put in physically. I couldn't tell you. But judging by the, how, I don't know, I mean, yeah. I just, I don't even know where they brought the ore in to go through, like how they routed everything through. There's so much that has been removed from it. I mean, we have a ramp right here.
So what really intrigues me about this site,
I don't think they had wheelchair accessible laws back then, so this must have been like a loading.
What do you think shut this down? Just
the prices of the ore crashing.
Okay. So the war basically just made this a economic powerhouse through government subsidy.
Yeah. So the guy's first name that started this was Thomas.
Okay. Anaconda Mining Company though is Mark Stay.
Yeah. So he died in 1932 from cancer. You know, and then like, so yeah, it was after 1932 is when the Anaconda Company picked it up.
Okay, so this was run by a sole proprietor.
Yeah, this was run for a while by him, you know, him and his partner and private investors, and then then after he died, his partner sold it to the Anaconda Mining Company.
Wow.
And then that's when all this got put up here.
Wow.
So yeah, I had my dates a little screwy, but
this was part of the East Coast patented claim. Someone knew what existed here.
Yeah.
And then when the war needed chromium and other metals, this thing fired right up. And you can see the civil construction aspect of it. So a lot we visit are wood, so even from that date. But this is all cast poured rebar.
Yeah, you can see the form markings in the concrete.
Yeah.
So if I remember my dates correctly again, this, oh dang it, I forgot what I was going to say now.
That happens.
Yeah.
That happens. This is cool. And it's just strange that.
Oh, so like this,
concrete's left.
When Thomas,
wooden structure
would
still be here.
When Thomas was still alive and mining this, he like there was efforts from big investors in from New York that tried to buy the claim from him. Him and his partner declined and declined, and multiple offers of purchasing this claim.
Yeah.
And he denied it.
It was his pride and joy.
Yeah, and he moved his entire family out here, and tried and made a run at it, but it never really got off the ground until after he, like I said, passed away, and the Anaconda company came out and bought it and modernized everything.
Okay. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool, and this is one of the remains of. Are we going up the side of the mountain?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be basically going straight up this.
Really?
Still got some timber up here.
Little bit of timber.
We got some electrical conduit.
Now this must have been steel, corrugated steel around the whole building, right? That's what framed it.
As possible.
That might be why this is left like this.
They would have had machinery up there, and I think in that opening right there, in the concrete there, that would have been like a stairwell going up to it.
Okay. And then the ore would have came down
over the top of this and worked its way down. Yeah, they could have had all their, like one of these floors could have been like a coarse crusher, a fine crusher, and then like the sifter that kind of separated everything out.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got that little
chute.
Yep.
And they would have had, I wonder if that's not where it was all dumped in and it may be conveyored down through here. That would make a bit of sense to me. This is all slag. I'm assuming these were for like shakers or equipment. These look, looks like a foundation to have a like a motor or light plant engine. I don't know. It definitely looks like they had something mounted here. Maybe this was a service access underneath it. They didn't leave a whole lot for a feller to work with, and you have all this down here. Again, it's just this mill takes up a pretty large section of land here. Yo! Looks like they would have had maybe a wall right here. Having all this ore up here makes me wonder if maybe this wasn't where they dropped all the raw ore from up top, but it's, I don't know. It's anybody's guess at this point. I don't think this is a forklift loading ramp. So you can see there's all sorts of mounting plates up there for whether or not those were for columns. If those were for columns, for like a roof structure, or if those were them angles were used for mounting equipment. That I am not quite sure of. But it would seem to me that the most logical explanation would be they would have brought the material down to this, and it would have they probably had a conveyor system running down to this, and it just worked its way down through the rest of the mill. But they processed all of the ore from raw to a finished product here. Yeah, it's a mystery. I know I keep saying that, but I mean, there's very little photo evidence of how this was set up, and nothing of the interior of how the mill was operated. But I've been driving past this, and I've hiked all over this for quite a few years. I've been coming up into this area for, oh geez, probably since 2006. And it just keeps getting more and more of that put on it. People come up here and they have their urban combat paintball wars, and then you get people that just shoot holes in the concrete because, you know, they're dumb. But this would have been a noisy ass place when it was in operation. Would have been intense building this up here though, doing all this work on site. I mean, footings everywhere for, I don't know. But there's obvious paths for ore. I mean, I don't know if this was a walkway or if this was for conveyors. Like, you got ore coming down from both sides of this and shooting it down onto this one main conveyor and working it down. We got a silo down there. I do not know if they use the arsenic up here. I don't think they did. We got sidewalk right here. This might have been like a control office or some sort of an office. Maybe a cellar.